Here we go, the first ever of Square-Enix's digital event. You know, directs are pretty much becoming like streaming services. All companies are doing them.
I'm fine with that, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I'll say this.
So what are we starting with?
The anomaly storms have forced us underground.
Project what now?
Maybe it's Outriders. They mentioned that it was gonna take a big chunk of it.
Yeah, on Square Enix's Twitter account, they retweet this game a lot.
Outriders. Is that?
It's basically the game that is made by People Can Fly, the guy who were partly responsible for Gears of War Judgment.
Okay.
And
Wait.
that was our favorite.
Wait.
Dwaves. That probably they probably were involved with the writing.
Well, so, wait. I do wonder though, how did
I'm talking about Gears of War Judgment. Is it a tactical game or?
No. It's still a third-person shooter.
I guess, yeah, okay, I know nothing about this. I follow the fact that there's a lot of marketing. Square is really pushing this thing, actually. I commend, actually, that too.
A few days ago, actually, they announced that the Xbox version of this is going to be on Xbox Game Pass.
At launch, yeah. Apparently they struck a deal with Microsoft.
So, how did the guys behind Gears of War Judgment get roped in on a Square Enix game, I wonder?
I actually don't know about this.
Well, here's the thing, Joby. You have to remember that the creative direction of Gears of Judgment was still by Epic Games. People Can Fly was only a developer on hire. They weren't there to actually take creative reins. They were just there to do the heavy lifting.
Hello.
Whoa, Square Enix, I see you're taking some cues from Undertale and Persona 5.
We did mention it.
No, it literally is the corresponding.
Alright, Matt, I'm rolling initiative. Give me a second.
This is Square-Enix presents.
Fuck, it's a free.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Square Enix presents the spring of this year.
Alright, let's see what you got.
But yeah, I gotta be honest, Outriders looks promising even if it's not necessarily my kind of game. You can definitely tell that it has the Square graphic budget behind it.
I'll admit, I've kind of been trained to be a bit desensitized to, well, typical looking third-person shooters by the looks of it, if this is even
At least this one seems that it's trying to do something different instead of being simply human versus human.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. This one does look like it could possibly have a shot at that. I'm just waiting to see the game.
Yeah, this is a weird bit of presentation.
So it's a co-op RPG shooter. Interesting.
Let me listen, actually.
Oh, so this is actually okay, so they actually have creative reins over it. Okay, so this is their first attempt at... Oh, they even say it.
Yeah, so they
let me check what the rest...
Okay, so this is their... Wow, I'm surprised they even mentioned that so specifically. But
I guess they are very confident in this.
Okay. I will say this though. They did not specify that they worked on Gears of War Judgment. Just that, they've worked on the Gears of War series.
Yeah,
it's also the fact. Remember, Jova. He was also on a supporting role. Apparently this is the first time they're doing something like completely on their own.
Well,
yeah,
it doesn't look like.
This is the first time they've made something that's entirely their own creation. Instead of being a developer on hire.
Well,
and again, it's interesting that Square Enix picked up the idea of all people. Again, in recent times, Square Enix seems to have decided to be more experimental, even in investing in even Western studios for their own area, for better or worse that we've seen with the Quiet Man, but I still commend the effort.
I'll admit, I
mean, they already have Western studios.
Well, that's just the thing, Taito. When you're trying to, be experimental, there's always going to be the risk.
Of course, you win some, you lose some. I know that.
There's no foolproof way of making a brilliant game every single time.
Okay. You know what? I'll admit, first impressions, third-person shooter that looks like it's going to have RPG elements and magic involved. Okay, you've got my interest.
They don't try to make this a Destiny game. Oh my god.
Yeah, I get a lot of Destiny and Anthem vibe in terms of aesthetics, so we're probably gonna have something similar to those two.
Here's just hoping that it's good.
Yeah, because from what I've heard, Destiny is at least good, whereas that other one you mentioned.
That's the thing. That's the thing with it's like happened like kind of like clockwork. The moment Activision went away, the game became more fun for everybody because it wasn't as restrictive as before.
And mind you, that was Destiny 2 specifically that became fun. Destiny 1, not so much. So we got Technomancer, a Devastator, which is essentially the tank class.
Basically, yeah, and probably again similar also to stuff like Anthem. You have the bulky guy that soaks up the bullet, the supporter, which is more fragile but can do cool shit. You know, the more traditional attacker that's a bit balanced.
Ooh, Pyromancer.
And you know, the supporter, like in this case, the
I'm
Pyromancer.
I set things on fire.
Okay. You know what? If this does not fall into the same pit traps that Anthem and Destiny initially fell into, I could actually see this being something to help rev up the third-person shooter genre. Which, trust me, that's a genre that needs a shot in the arm more than anything. Who's a white man?
Like I said, if the game has an interesting world, like they're potentially showing it, like I can see being good because again, I like the original Gears of War trilogy. If this could be a kind of a spiritual successor to Blazinski's original vision, I would be interested in checking it out. Why not?
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Let
the
me
team
see
that helped out in
where-
Gears of War Judgment of all things, properly giving us the true
The
follow-up.
composer is the person that I know for a long time now, Einon Zur, the guy who did stuff like Prince of Persia 2008. But let me check. The writer, the director is Bartosz Kmita. I think it's from People Can Fly Themselves. But the writer is Joshua Robin, which I don't know anything about.
He's a writer.
Well, duh.
Ah, yes, these shifty markets of scum and villainy where you can get good objects for good prices. Oh yeah, that's definitely an Anthem gimmick.
Well, I gotta need to, spice up the interest for the future, so, customization for weapons and gear itself.
As long as they're properly priced, okay.
Well, okay, I get the idea that at least most of these kind of like Destiny will be stuff that you find in the game.
Well, Joe, if you have an Xbox like I do, you don't have to pay anything.
No, yeah, I think Trevor was talking about the microtransactions or something.
I'm also talking about, okay, I hope that they don't fall into that pit trap of charging insane amounts for so much as just a different paint job, which is obviously meant to try and get people to latch on to microtransactions, like,
I'll tell you, well, actually, Dave's a very good. Be our guinea pig, not necessarily for recording, but when the game comes out, give it a try and tell us what it is like.
Oh, sure.
I could stream it actually for you.
So I understand, Wibbs, that you got Games Pass, did you?
Yeah, I've got Game Pass.
This is all just the tip of the iceberg.
Still waiting on Flight Simulator, by the way.
Okay, at least the monster design looks promising from this first bit here.
I can tell you there's more monster variety than in Anthem.
True! Oh, it's coming out April Fool's this year.
Yeah,
Huh.
it's actually right around the corner. Remember, Jova? And again, I commend also Square-Enix for marketing a lot to this.
Okay.
Oh, Tomb Raider.
Remember,
Remember, this is the 25th anniversary, so probably there's something like a compilation.
Yeah, I mean, there's not gonna. I think they've already said there's not gonna be a big game this year, so. It's gonna be like Sonic's
Okay, Dweebs,
most recent anniversary.
since we're showing everything, Dweebs, please tell me when footage from Angel of Darkness shows up.
Dweebs' favorite.
I'm curious if they actually bother to do that.
We have some exciting partnership news to celebrate Lara's 25th.
Yeah.
including the
And in
recent
fact,
reveal of a
it's
Tomb
worse
Raider
than 06 in the fact that
collaboration with
absolutely
Netflix
nothing
and
from the
Legendary
Tomb Raider
Television.
series came
And
out after that
telling updates
until
to the next big
2006.
screen
Oh yeah, and
installment
the
of Tomb
Netflix
Raider
show.
featuring
Dwebs,
Lizzie
is that going to be a live action
Lara's
show or
also
an
all
animated?
No,
over
it's a quote
and we're working
anime.
with talented teams on
Oh,
crossovers for
okay.
Tom
They
Clancy's
had to
Ghost
put
Recon
it quote
It's
unquote.
another one.
More of
There's
Origins
something
Final
about
Fantasy
this,
Break.
Oh,
Yeah,
Final
there's-
Fantasy.
There's the Tomb Raider Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Lara appeared as basically a crossover guest character in a lot of games, including Brave Exvius. Brave Exvius has a lot of weird crossover characters.
Also here,
Oh, boy,
have a
that's-
Tomb Raider cookbook. Have an angel cake of darkness.
Yeah, and you could
Oh,
also dress.
sounds delicious, doesn't it,
In Lightning
Troy?
Returns, yeah.
Yeah, you could dress Lightning as 2013 Lara. This one, Lara.
That's a reboot trilogy that just feels like they're
Yeah.
trying so hard.
That's the
to make
thing
her-
that this reboot trilogy, it's not really the worst thing that happened to the franchise, but it feels so fair.
Let me put it
The
like
interesting.
this.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's not the first reboot. It's actually the second.
This particular one.
Let me put it like
I'm
this.
guessing they're gonna put them on the PS5 and Series X and S.
I'm not
Okay,
sure.
okay. Let me put it like this. The biggest hype there was with the trilogy was the first game. It came out, people liked it, but there were issues. Big issues. Try hard, overly gratuitous deaths and whatnot, and
Yeah,
change
seriously.
gameplay.
So basically a Ubisoft game.
Yeah,
Honestly,
pretty
even worse than that, because the fatalities for the death scenes were very actually accurate. They came out of nowhere.
That's it. That's your Tomb Raider stuff.
Oh no,
Oh, no, there's
Fortnite!
one more.
Hello.
We already knew about this.
Let me actually double check real quick.
Hey,
Oh,
you can
Croft
play in
Manor.
Croft Manor.
I gotta say this, Fortnite is becoming quite a massive crossover, like
Yes, Jova, or as I mentioned to Dibs yesterday, the town's bicycle.
yeah, pretty much. So,
Just Cause.
Yes,
Just
amazing.
Cause Mobile. Basically,
This is
for
the
those who
mobile
need
bit.
context, Just Cause 4, because I actually bothered to inform myself after I played the game, apparently Just Cause 4 was rushed in development and did not sold as much as the expectation of Square were. So I get the idea that now the franchise is kind of on ice and they're just doing this mobile title to see how things turn out.
as a Just Cause fan, that is
Just
disappointing. It is very disappointing. Like Just
Oh,
Cause.
hey, Rico. Especially because Just Cause 4 ends on possibly the biggest, most important cliffhanger of the entire franchise.
God damn!
What does something blow up?
No, basically, the one thing that has been established since the first game, the protagonist Rico wants to go against that. So they ended the fourth game with him going, oh, why not taking them down? And they ended up like there. And I get the idea that this title is more of a spin-off instead of actually following up on that.
Let me sum up the Just Cause franchise for you. The first game was good, but not that remarkable. The second game is one of the most famous open world games. It's arguably one of the largest open worlds still to this day in video games.
And yeah, that's the appeal. Basically, blowing your shit up like in a Steven Seagal movie.
No, okay.
In the meantime,
You can do so much in Just Cause. You can literally tie everything to a
Hitman.
plane and...
Yeah, this is.
Wait.
Yeah.
I thought you split up
in-
from Square-Enix.
So yeah, in spite of the Hitman IP no longer belonging to Square-Enix, I'm guessing Square still owns some mobile.
Or maybe
rights.
they still had a small deal for this occasion with the IO. Remember, they also don't know decided to publish Dying Light 2, even though they had nothing to do with the first game. So I get the idea that there might have been something, not a remnant from that, but more like IO had more familiarity with them. I don't know.
maybe IO Interactive this is IO Interactive.
Oh, Space Invaders.
Oh, so Square remembered that they own that.
Taito, yeah. Well, we did mention in the hyping up of this event that we were gonna have some news tied to Taito.
So what, is it gonna be a remake of that great Space Invaders game from
Another
back in the day?
compilation would be nice, actually. It's been a while since the last one.
In the meantime, I'm checking the PlayStation Store. That Tomb Raider, it's called the Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy, and it's not port or anything. It's just basically a big bundle with a diminutive price, so that you can just buy all free games for a very good
Also, I
price.
just want to say this. That
What?
Space Invaders
Your
sure
eyes
has the
weren't
same
playing
energy
tricks on
as the Pokemon.
Square-Enix Montreal
so-
are collaborating on a new vision for the Space Invaders brand, with an upcoming mobile game built on innovative AR technology. And now let's take a look at a few more delightful games from Taito.
Oh, hi.
Anime?
Is that? Toho?
And now
Yep.
when it comes... Heck? Okay. Oh,
Why?
It's cool.
It's,
That's
it's
cool.
Bubble
Japanese
Bubble.
puzzle games.
It's no, because Taito owns also Bubble Bubble, so
Toho
Toho's still
Bubble.
Bubble.
Actually, this particular one is Puzzle Bubble, not Bubble, because Bubble Bubble is not it's the same as Puzzle Bubble.
This instead, I actually know it. It's Darius, the Gradius clone that Taito has. It's basically you against robot fishes.
Huh.
Pretty neat, actually. Taito and Square actually has released a bunch of two separate compilations of all the Darius titles. I actually plan to get them at some point.
But yeah,
Anyway, oh, sorry. Go on.
Cosmic Revelation.
Coming to Nintendo
yeah, no,
Switch, yeah.
that Tomb Raider repackaging actually works really well for me. So for when I play
There you go.
for them, because all free games run at full 60 FPS on the PS5. So
There's
perfect
Bubble
for
Bubble.
commentary. But yeah, okay. The thing about the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy, let me put it like this: first game came out, and yeah, it was essentially a glorified Ubisoft title. Not bad, not exactly what the fans wanted. So you thought, oh, they'd alleviate these issues with the second title. Not so much. By the time that the third game came out, the hype had pretty much dried up, and people were like, okay, let's just get through with this reboot trilogy.
Basically, Bubble Bubble is more akin to the original Mario Brothers 2, whereas Puzzle Bubble is the thing with the actual ball.
Oh, well.
Here we go. Marvel's Avengers.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
BRB. So.
That reminds me. Actually, I should get that free upgrade.
So let me guess, Hawkeye.
So we're gonna present the new expansion, probably.
Finally arrived.
Okay, I mentioned this before of
Oh
commentaries.
my God,
I
Maestro!
don't know why Maestro is the villain for Hawkeye.
Let me guess, Evil Future or something?
Well, Maestro is all like that, Jova. You know, an evil Hulk from a different, the imperfect future.
Also, yeah, the Bartons are here. That said, though, yeah, it's a weird expansion, I will not deny. Okay, so, Marvel's Avengers. You've heard it. You've heard about how it's getting dunked on bad, and God, I don't really care for that Hawkeye costume, but okay. Having looked at stuff like, you know, No Man's Sky, maybe, just maybe they can salvage this. That said, though...
Jova, it seems before now we're just continuing with free updates, so we only have to wait, I guess.
I'll just say this, I'm not holding my breath. I mean, it is possible, but they have gone so radio silent about this game, and it has not elicited, well, you know, high hopes.
Well, what's this then?
Eh?
Everything I have seen just looks.
Do I know
okay.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs.
But I'm sure it has this audience, and I hope like they'll continue to support the game so that people who spent money on it won't feel gypped off.
This gun squad is going.
But I agree with Jova, this particular costume for Clint is not really great.
I get it, we can't...
It's based off a comic.
Yeah, I know. And to be honest, if I had to do that, I would rather have the Ronin costume instead.
How?
No, to follow up on what... Sorry.
Oh, no, go on.
To follow up on what Deji said. No, actually, so far, at the very least, they seem to be, you know, supporting what little player base they have better than Anthem did.
Or Fallout 76.
So, there's that at least.
That said, though, I wish that this could
I don't even think... Okay, I don't know actually this part, but if it happened, I probably would have actually known. I don't think they went through the whole thing that I think... I think it was Fallout 76 the case, where they actually called people who complained entitled.
I will say this, though. I wish that they can go above and beyond with fixing this game, because... look, like...
This costume's based off.
Like I said, though, I mean, that is one of the dullest and lamest costumes you could get. Like, that looks like something you could get off of a Walmart tag price.
I guess, Jova, it's like CD in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Easiest cosplay ever.
Let me explain that to you. That Hawkeye comic, a lot of people love it, and they say it's really good. I need to
No, that's the thing, Jova. That's the thing, Deji. I agree, because the story is pretty good on it.
So I guess
I don't like how Hawkeye looks. I
Well-
don't like how Hawkeye looks.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Dej. I think people like the story. That doesn't mean they like the particular costume, though. Like, and look, you know,
They like the art style.
yes, the
no,
art style,
correctly.
not the
Can't you-
costume, though. Like, again, the costume.
Correctly. Can't you... Sorry.
The costume is one of the most generic ones possible.
Hey, I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying why they did it.
A memorial. Whatever I thought they might have been through.
Yes, you can change costumes, although you sometimes have to pay quite a hefty price to get new ones with the Anthem-esque system of this game.
Did you think the Supreme Leader hadn't noticed you?
Taskmaster, what are you doing here?
I thought it was Doctor Doom.
No,
No,
please.
that's Taskmaster.
That's an insult and I will not listen to it. Alright, Shiro.
Nice to know some things never change.
Like,
Okay.
seriously.
Get out of the cult of it. Just get out.
Is it any worse than any of the movie designs he's had?
Honestly, like I
he's not wrong.
always said, the Roger Corman version of Fantastic Four will still remain my favorite because they actually bothered to have comic book accurate costumes. And even if it might look silly, Doctor Doom is fucking fantastic in that one.
Well, no, I mean,
is.
the issue with Fantastic No Release wasn't the effort. It was cheap.
What? Well, you know, given what they had to work with and the budget, it still sadly looks better than...
Budget.
Well, honestly, James, here's the thing. I'd still argue in a lot of ways it looks better than the other Fantastic Four films.
Hey Jova.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's take a glimpse into some
But,
upcoming
yeah, okay. See. Okay. See, now that outfit at least looks somewhat better. Sure, it's not the classic one, but at least it's more heroic. But okay, yeah, nice. And yes, increased level cap. I will just say this, though. There is a chance they could maybe salvage this game. But I'll just say this. I would like to see them really excel with giving it the proper thing that it was supposed to be. Like, I'll just say it like now. If you have a game that's a disaster like this, then you should put forward an effort like the team of No Man's Sky did to salvage that thing. Like, No Man's Sky went from being the most hated thing to well-loved. Wait, what?
I read your proposal. And I must admit,
Crystalline. Oh, I guess it's the Wakanda expansion, Jova.
Oh yeah, Black Panther.
Yeah, he's voiced by Kratos from the God of War 2018.
Huh.
Oh.
scale
Oh,
invasion.
okay.
So, you get me the army. I'll get you the vibranium.
Steve
Of
Blum,
course.
is that you?
Yeah, I think so. He's probably voicing Claw. Yo. Okay, I actually don't think I ever asked you this question, Jova, because the Marvel movies did not showcase. Black Panther, cape or not?
Yes, he does wear a cape occasionally.
No, what I mean, do you prefer the cape or not?
I do prefer the cape.
Hold on.
Oh, no.
Here's Balan, the Wonder.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. But
I'm not even going to correct you on getting the name wrong, Tio. It's not worth it.
because day one patch, that'll totally save the game.
How about you fix it now?
Maybe that's what
How
you're
about you
also
delay
doing
the
it.
game?
Tio, you are very optimistic, but here's the thing, Tio. If they're this far in development and releasing it, as soon as they are, they can't do it.
I already mentioned, I do wonder if it's a situation, again, similar to No Man's Sky, where the publisher is dictating the release date and Square is not allowing them to actually delay.
I'll give this trailer credit. It makes the game look way more fun than it actually is to play.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
but since we've played it, we already know how it plays, and we can see the cheapness.
Yeah.
And we can still see everything is actually moving quite slowly.
Not only that, Dej, but I just realized something. This trailer has a filter that makes the game look better than it actually is in game.
Yeah, there's no jackiness.
Well, that depends, Deji. Where did you play the game?
PS4.
Oh, okay. Because the Switch version is...
Because you can
garbage.
you can just see the pixels and it just feels like
I played it on PC, which is supposed to be like the best looking version. It does not.
I played it on PC and it's garbage anyway.
Who actually is the composer of these? Do we know?
Yes, we do. There's actually a behind-the-scenes video where the composer even talks about it too. It's a
Oh
Square-Enix
boy,
composer.
guys, it's
Okay.
literally coming out 8 days from now. They'll totally be
Premiere of the
able to
next
fix
major
it.
Life is Strange game.
Oh, goody, Life is Strange.
Life is Strange free.
Oh.
I didn't know this was.
Oh
appearing.
god, that's right. So how?
And it's Pedro, it's Deck 9, the people behind before the... Oh my god.
Storm. Oh, great.
Wait. Before the Storm. Is that the one that has that one character who's even... Is
Rachel, yes.
Oh god,
Basically-
Rachel, who from what I've heard is
basically-
even worse
basically-
than Chloe.
Basically, but for those who are not aware, there's a prequel to the original Life is Strange called Life is Strange Before the Storm, and it's not made by Dontnod Entertainment, it's actually made by Deck 9. After the bad reception from the fans that Before the Storm got,
I love it. I really let myself.
that Square-Enix is still allowing them to work on another Life is Strange. Okay, I'm guessing Dontnod doesn't want to work on more Life is Strange games. They want to move on and do something else. So maybe Square-Enix is like, okay, you guys want to, you guys say that you're huge fans of Life is Strange. There you go. You have the series now. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm curious. So what was the overall consensus of, well, Before the Storm?
Well, the fans didn't like it at all. But I don't remember what the critics thought of it. Not that I care.
Okay. So why didn't the fans like it? Was it, again, story issues?
No, Joe, it would require me to start explaining stuff, and we're kind of in the middle of something.
Fair enough.
Not to mention
Okay,
spoilery.
okay. Better question. How was Life is Strange 2 any good? Since this is apparently Life is
I
Strange
haven't
3?
looked into it yet. I haven't actually looked that much into it, that one.
Beast of the Strange.
Havens of community.
I mean, from what I understand, these sequels don't even really have anything to do with the original story of the first Life is Strange.
No. Life is Strange 2, which was the last one made by Dontnod, is a completely self-contained story that has nothing to do. It's like a Final Fantasy sequel, Joe. It's its own thing.
Use the power of emotion.
Because the protagonist isn't even the same, right?
Wait a minute. Is this that Super Princess Peach thing over again? We gotta use a woman's emotions to solve the plot.
No, Joe, but here's the thing, Joe. But the gimmick with Life is Strange is that it's a Telltale style adventure game, but there's always a supernatural gimmick to it.
Yeah.
In the first one, you can reverse time, which is their way of incorporating an entire game based on that one mechanic from Remember Me. But I don't remember which one is the one they have in Life is Strange 2.
It's something similar, but they essentially scapegoating by saying that Chloe is able to talk sweet talk about with people. It's the subtitle.
Yeah, really? They don't use that song?
Major game in the Life is Strange series.
I'm still not a fan of the all, not our style, but the way the people look, because it's entirely based on the hipster culture of the last couple of years, and I'm not exactly a fan of that.
Yeah. What
But,
she just said right there? She said that she's a huge Life is Strange fan. That's exactly accurate, because Life is Strange Before the Storm feels like Life is Strange fanfiction in a lot of ways. So.
From what I've heard, that game is the main purpose of that game is supposedly supposed to try and explain why Chloe is the way she is.
Yeah, and it does a piss poor job at that. There you go, Shiroi. This woman right here literally went from being a Life is Strange fanfic writer to being in charge of the Life is Strange series. There you go, Shiroi. A triumph for fanfic writers everywhere.
Well, good for her, you know.
Yeah,
We are so delighted to share it with you.
Okay.
I don't know why you're bashing her. That's good.
That's
good.
Okay.
I'm not bashing her. I'm bashing her game.
Okay, I will say this. Maybe this game can turn out to be good, though, again, from what I've heard of Before the Storm, let's hope they've gotten better.
What I love most about
Here's
Alex is she's this smart, resilient
can I
young
just
woman
post my
who,
take
at
on
the start of the game, has already
What?
weathered a
Go
really
on.
difficult life
Go
in
on.
the foster care system. But she still has
I've
this
never played
hope
it,
for the
but
future.
everything I've
That
seen
somewhere she
and
can
looked
find a
at,
place to call home.
it does not look like something that's for me, and it
At the
feels like it's
invitation
the
of her
most you
brother,
either
Alex
love it or
travels
hate
to the
it.
town.
Okay.
If something
It's
tells me
Mama.
I am going to hate that.
It's a fresh start. Framed
You're-
against the
you
beautiful
kind of-
vistas,
That blue-haired
sprawling
girl.
lakes,
Oh,
say
you
this.
and pretty much everyone did. It's like,
setting
okay,
embodies the promise
I may not be as big
of
into
every
Life is
small
Strange,
town
but I
across
was
America.
pretty much following the Life is Strange train with the
Okay.
first game, essentially.
In a place where she can
Total
rebuild
high
Actually, I have
crash
something
by the
positive to
final
say.
one. Oh,
after
go on.
8 years
I just have something to say. Just based on this trailer alone, the presentation has taken a huge step up from the first two games.
Definitely.
Because one of the big issues with Life is Strange 1 and 2 is how the graphics engine is so stiff. Like, to give you guys an idea, Life is Strange 1 barely has any facial animations. Movement. And since it is a story-driven game with a shit ton of cutscenes, it kind of becomes a problem. A lot of times you'll see a character that's supposed to look happy, but the face doesn't really reflect that emotion. And it undermines the potential of the cutscenes in a lot of ways.
So our main character can view the spectral emotion. What is this, like a Green Lantern story in disguise?
I'm at the very least glad that since Deck 9 was willing to not use Don't Nod's engine and just, you know, step up the presentation for this time, because when they did Before the Storm, they just reused Don't Nod's engine. As a result, it still has the same presentation issues. But I'm glad they didn't do the same for this one, because yeah, that engine is outdated and needed to go.
So from what I understand based off of this trailer, it seems like the overall gimmick of this game is that you play as a girl who can, you know, sort of sense other people.
Before the Storm are in this game.
Anyway, as I was saying, it seems like that you can sort of sense and also slightly influence other people's emotions, I guess.
Yeah, apparently. That being said, Theo, you might be interested in this. Life is Strange 1 is an incredibly easy platinum. I don't know.
I know that. I know that.
Anyway, Dids, going back to what you were saying, in terms of hating Chloe, you're pretty much with the majority of humanity in that regard.
God, her name is Chloe? No!
Wow, wait, what's wrong?
Don't worry about it, I'll explain it off screen.
Using her psychic
Well,
power
whatever.
Anyway, but okay,
no,
okay, let me put it like this, Dids.
Actually, but the one I'm talking about was Rachel, not Chloe, but sure.
Oh, no. I was talking to Dedge about, you know, what he thought of Life is Strange, and he mentioned, you know, really hating Chloe.
Thanks, guys.
But yeah.
There's one more thing.
So,
I'm excited
yeah, when
to
is it
reveal
launching?
that
Oh,
I'm
and one more
providing
thing.
Alex Chen's in-game singing voice.
Oh,
As a
how
longtime fan
nice.
of Life is Strange being even a small part of this universe, and of Alex,
Lady, not for nothing.
Here's a short clip of Alex feeling uncertain.
Let me ask you
Rocky start to
Hey,
her first day in
Pedro, look at the bright side. At least she didn't talk about having a digital version of herself going into the world of Life is Strange.
That's what I'm saying.
Instead, we're doing the Donkey Kong Country, the Donkey Kong Country cartoon route and having a different person for the singing sequences.
That's not what I'm saying, though, Jova. Okay, honey, that's nice, but let me ask you something. Are you a good, well-trained singer? Because the fact that you're a fan doesn't necessarily correlate with whether or not you're the right person to be doing the singing voice, you know? It's just like, she keeps saying, oh, don't worry, I'm doing the singing voice. See, I'm a fan of Life is Strange. Well, okay, that's nice, but the fact that you're a fan has nothing to do with whether or not you're a good singer.
I guess.
Pedro, she would have had to have been picked from like a group of people. Just saying.
But I'm a creep.
I guess she sounds fine here.
She is literally singing a song about how she's a creep and a weirdo.
What the hell am I doing?
Okay.
I'm sure this will fit the context
I
of
know
the
you
story
told me.
somehow.
I don't.
Like me, I haven't played the game.
No, Trix is talking to the character.
I believe, is this the exposition song?
I am so
I guess.
excited for this game.
God, she even
This
looks
is a
like
song of exposition.
she even looks like the character.
I heart love.
Sure, question. I'm curious. Like, if you became the creative head of the Splatoon franchise,
Oh!
in which direction would you take the franchise in?
Well, I'm sure Marina would have won the Splatfest, so.
Yes, Serena would have won. It would have been rigged, because I would have rigged it.
So anyway, so the full game comes out on
Also, we'd have City
September.
Pop.
Okay, there you go then. There's your warning, Nintendo. Never hire Shiverick for that
Delighted
series.
to announce that Life
You got a
is
problem with
Strange
City
and
Pop?
Life is Strange Before the
well,
Storm.
well, no,
return
but it
as
seems
a
hold
like,
on.
new
but it seems like you're
remastered
biased,
collection
so it
featuring
probably
enhanced
wasn't.
visuals
Oh,
and
what
animations.
P2?
I mean,
Oh.
Bias?
Well, Pedro,
Pedro, if I was put be in charge of a series, I'd be as biased as I can possibly be.
apparently,
They're remastering.
yeah,
first
apparently
game
you were mentioning about the dull visuals. Apparently, we're remaking those.
wait.
Oh, great.
Hold on, remake or remaster?
I don't know.
Well, it
I
looks
think
like
they
a
said
remake.
remaster. They said remaster. See there.
Well, okay.
Fall 2021.
Okay. To be fair, Dwibs, let's not forget, certain companies can be dumb when it comes to knowing the difference between a remaster and remake.
Hold on, let me read
Part
something.
of the Life is Strange True Colors Ultimate Edition.
Okay,
And also
so
available
remake or
standalone later on
remaster?
this year. And that's it for today.
It's a collection.
Thank you so much for
So
watching.
they
and
pretty
make sure
much
to
told
keep an
you
eye on
wait
the Life
until
is
you do
Strange
the
channel
Let's
for
Play.
more.
Based on what she just said, apparently if you buy the Ultimate Edition of True Colors right now, you'll also get the Remastered Collection earlier, apparently.
And you can get it standalone as well.
Later in the year. Yeah, if you want it standalone, you have to wait a bit.
I mean, that's fair enough, I guess.
So, Inside Out,
an
Life is Strange
incentive-
edition.
An incentive for early adopters of this new game.
Well, this game actually
Cool
does
story,
have a
bro.
significant base, so.
Yeah, it looks like it could be interesting.
Alright, I
Final
guess.
update today
Oh,
from the
final
team at
update.
Luminous Productions.
Project, the
Althea?
project with the Luminous, Pedro. Project Althea, I forgot what it's called.
Project
Althea.
Althea. This is fun fact. Project Althea is a pet project of Yosuke Matsuda, the president of Square-Enix.
I'm super excited to finally announce that I play
so
the
it
lead
should be interesting to see
character
where this
Frey
goes.
in working title Project Athia, a brand new IP from Square-Enix and Luminous Productions about a young woman in a beautiful yet threatening world. The development team has been working super hard to create this remarkable journey, and it's been incredibly exciting to be a part of it. Frey is a character I immediately connected with when this project was first brought to me, and I've had so much fun working with the team to bring her character to life in performance capture
Oh, so it's an
and voice recording
apocalyptic
sessions.
setting.
While we're not
Probably.
You can tell because she's wearing sneakers, so that means obviously she came from a modern world
John
before
and
everything
Gandalf
went
wore
down.
sneakers, but Middle-earth was not a post-apocalyptic world.
So this is the new Luminous game, is it?
Yes. It's made. It's
It's owned by the team of 15, the 15.
Yes, and it's gonna be a timed PS5 exclusive like 16.
So odds are it's going to blow up the console.
Is it gone?
Yes.
Well, depends. Hopefully Hashimoto actually
Okay.
improved the fucking engine.
Okay, one thing that I will say immediately judging from that, I get the idea that despite everything, the Luminous hasn't improved much about the air physics.
Alas.
It's interesting too because in Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, Hashimoto is credited as the technical director.
Forspoken.
What kind of a name
there
is
you go.
that?
Forspoken.
It's a
It's
name.
probably- it's the most
Oh,
straightforward
there we go.
Square Enix name.
Oh, okay. To be fair, I actually think this looks really fun.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. That gameplay
Got
does
moved.
look pretty good.
That's it. That's the video's over. The only reason why it's long is because it's just having presents, so you're not missing much.
Let's see if
Coming
Desmond's prediction
2022,
is correct.
PS5 and PC.
Thank you for joining us to see what's in store from studios across Square Enix. But there is more to come. Be on the lookout for our next Square Enix Presents this summer.
Oh, cool. You're having another
Oh,
one.
boy.
Well, okay, to be fair, it's basically what their substitute of E3, so I get the idea why.
I wonder if they'll talk about 16.
Showcase, Jova.
Yeah.
Okay, so final thoughts, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Who wants to start?
Can I go first?
Sure, go on.
It's definitely a first one of these for Square Enix. There are a couple of decent announcements for me, but the rest are just kind of eh.
Fair enough.
Like a couple of the stuff, a couple of the things announced for the Tomb Raider 25th anniversary sound okay, although I'm guessing it's going to be like Sonic's 25th anniversary, in that in the actual anniversary year, there's no major game, just a small celebration with little releases of different things. And all the other stuff just kind of looks just okay at best for me. And that's about it for me. It's an okay start, but hopefully future ones they do will be better.
I'll go next. Yeah, this was... It's... Okay, I get that they may not have as much stuff to show. I will admit, though, I feel like this did sort of lack a really big, wondrous thing. Like, who knows, maybe Balan Wonderworld could have been that if we didn't know that the game is not turning out that great, but I feel like, you know, again, every show like one of these does need at least, I'd argue, at least 3 big things. You know, 3 really big things that you'll definitely remember. This one, maybe it's because of the circumstances revolving around these games, but not much. I guess I'd say the most memorable part of it was ironically the Life is Strange one, which, yeah, I think it's because that one arguably had the most stuff to show us, which, okay, to be fair, that's sort of a thing of how Life is Strange games are. Like, you know, they're not exactly these meaty gameplay experiences, so I guess we could argue that we do know more about that in comparison. But even still, that's not saying much. So, okay, where to begin? The start. Outriders. It looks like it could be interesting, you know. Again, the sad thing is that I've seen a lot of Anthem and Destiny ripoffs that unfortunately end up going down a bad path, and I am a bit worried about this one, so here's hoping that it turns out to be good. That said, I didn't see enough to get excited about it. But Tomb Raider stuff. Yeah, 25th anniversary. Like I said about the reboot trilogy, in hindsight, it's really not the best thing to come out for Tomb Raider. Like, yeah, if you're a fan of the reboot trilogy, all the more power to you, but there is a reason that by the third installment of it, sales and the hype had gone way down. Like, I guess it does technically wrap things up story-wise enough, but honestly, at the end of the day, nobody's going to be clamoring for more of the reboot trilogy. Lara Croft and Fortnite. Okay, Fortnite is really becoming the town bicycle. Everyone gets a ride. Just Cause Mobile. I'll admit, this one was just more of a sad reminder that Just Cause may be being put on ice for a bit of time. And again, because production of the fourth game was rushed, which Square themselves might be to blame for as well. But, just blame the game and assume that, oh, that means people don't want the franchise anymore. Ugh. The Space Invaders AR game. It's Space Invaders. Nice to see that Square Enix is remembering.
I mean, you really can't go wrong with that one unless you go through the Invasion Day route that we're seeing. So,
like, okay, yeah, Space Invaders is like Tetris. You should not be able to mess that up. I say you should not be able to mess up something that simple because for some reason AAA companies have managed to mess both of those up. God damn. Then there was the Marvel Avengers stuff here. Like I said, I don't care for the default Hawkeye costume. It's way too bland and boring. As to the Maestro story thing, it looks like it could be interesting, but it doesn't grip me. Like, look, I'll say this right now. Marvel's Avengers has been pummeled into the ground, and it deserved every bit of it. That said, if there's one inspiration I do want companies to take from No Man's Sky is like, well, okay, when something turns out to be a train wreck, doesn't mean you should always just abandon it or just punt out the content left and then completely abandon it. No. I want them to actually legit try and drag this game up from the ashes here, because it is possible. Unfortunately, even going off of the presentation and stuff, it doesn't feel all that gripping even still. Like, again, it's just like, oh, here's another edition. It doesn't feel like it has the pop or bombastic feel of arguably even the original main story of the Avengers game. Like, yeah, I've said it before, the story is arguably the best thing of the Avengers game. That's not saying much, but it is good. Then there was the Black Panther stuff. I'd be excited if I knew enough to contain my excitement, because, okay, you showed me a bit of Black Panther there, and that's it. Look, I don't know if that means it'll actually be good or whatnot. I mean, hey, we were excited for Avengers at first, and look how that showed up, so, yeah, a little bit too
Speak
little.
for yourself.
Again, Didge, it's nice, yes, but I'm not someone who just easily gets hooked up by
I think what that
seeing
means is
this
that he
event.
probably wasn't excited at first either.
Yeah.
In that case, I agree with you. But, yeah. Then after that, Balan Wonderland. And yes, I know I miscalled it Wonderland, but you know what? I do it on purpose at this point, because Wonderland sounds much better with Balan anyway, but whatever. Balan Wonderworld. You've probably... Okay, just watch me, Dead, and Paige's video on Balan Wonderworld. We, had a few notes. Over 2 hours worth of them.
I was gonna say a few notes. Sure.
I'll just say
2 hours long.
Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again.
It's
Yeah,
half the length of the slide.
like, yeah, guys, the day one patch is totally gonna save this game. Look, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. That game needs a complete overhaul. It needs an overhaul to save it. Like, they're sending that game to its doom, okay? If it's
That game is not flawed by lack of polish, it's flawed by design. Like, you need to, it's a Sonic 06 thing, you can't save it. You need to restart from scratch. A day one patch will not save this game.
at the very least, delay it so you can fix the more fundamental gameplay issues. Like, yes, it's nice that you're fixing the camera and some other tiny things, but there are so much bigger problems. Like, they need to also increase the walking and running speed for starters. But whatever. You know my main thoughts on it. I'll just say it. That game's being sent out to die.
One thing that they also could do,
yeah,
have the story make sense. That could be a thing because the cutscenes in that demo made no sense. Were they supposed to make sense, Jova?
Okay, so here's clearly you can't fix everything. Like, you can't fix the story, unfortunately. You can't fix the abundance of costumes, but here's what you can do: make the movement speed faster.
Like
Make
I
not
said,
everything
yeah.
be at one button. Like, let me jump with a costume instead of, you know. It's just so frustrating. Also, let the menus
It's so
be normal
archaic.
menus. Let me press back instead of no. You have to go straight down to hit go back. Like, no, what kind of stupid ass design? Okay, no.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. And that's just the tip of the iceberg with the problem. So, like I said, just watch our video on Blue Zone comms about Balan Wonderworld to get a real good set. And mind you, that's just from the demo. The demo which is supposed to entice people to buy it. But yeah, okay, Balan Wonderworld still sucks. Even though, again, I'll give the trailer this. That trailer did a good job actually making that game look fun. Even though I know that that is horse crap. Then afterwards, like I said, arguably the most memorable thing of this stream was the Life is Strange True Color stuff. Like, it looks like it could be a good game. It looks like they have a clear idea. Gameplay looks interesting here and there. We didn't get the full scope of it, but it's good that they kept from spoiling overall. So, okay, maybe the game could turn out to be good. Then Project Athia came about. It looks fine. So then the stream ended. And, yeah, like I said, it's nice that Square are going to be doing this, but it feels like a first installment, and sadly a first installment without anything really that enticing to watch. Like, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if everything that really matters in this thing just gets repeated for the summer show anyway, because a lot of it does feel...
Well, not necessary, Jova. Most of these games presented here are about to be released anyway.
True, yeah, nearly forgot about that, never mind, but yeah, I will say this, like, I guess it feels
They're probably gonna have like a big gameplay demo for Project Athia in the summer, but that's about it.
I guess the best way to put it is was that this feels like, you know, a B team selection of sorts, as opposed to, you know, your A game stuff overall. That said,
Gotta save the A game for the summer, Jova.
And also for the companies that had, you know, asked about it, like Nintendo. Remember, Nintendo presented a lot of Square stuff. So.
I'll say this though, it wasn't terrible or god awful. I do feel like it could have been stronger, but they gave us some interesting stuff. Just do better next time. And by that I mean actually be sufficiently better, not just, oh, a hair better, please. Gotta specify with all these monkey paws going around these days.
Hey, Drop.
It's average. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Like I did enjoy some stuff that's show. Like I really am interested in Project Athia in particular. That game looks really fun because the overall movement and the overall thing that you can apparently do all these awesome powers to control. I don't know if she's controlling the earth or if she's
I think they did mention something about her being sort of a geomancer.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty cool. That should be something really fun. and the fact that Matsuda, this is apparently Matsuda's big passion project of sorts, even though he's the president, not an actual developer, is actually an interesting origin for a project, I will argue. So it is interesting. So we'll see how that turns out. That's the one That's the one that was the best showing here for me. Life is Strange: True Colors. I've only finished recently the first Life is Strange, so I can't speak for the others entirely. I do know some stuff about Before the Storm, but not entirely at all. I haven't actually played it myself yet. I'm still waiting for my copy to arrive on that. Well, Deck 9 are basically the coalition to Don't Nod's Epic Games. So I'm not exactly super optimistic for True Colors.
Although from what you've told me, it sounds like Don't Nod have sort of fallen down the rabbit hole themselves, so...
Well, it's one of those things, Jova, where Twin Mirror was a game that was apparently, I haven't actually checked it out myself, but apparently it was a very mediocre game. Apparently they've never really managed to properly capture the magic, quote unquote magic, of the first Life is Strange. They've kind of slightly went downhill with each game, apparently, because Life is Strange 2 is overall regarded to be not as good as the first, and so on and so forth. Yeah, but I guess we'll see how True Colors turns out. I'm glad they at the very least upped up the presentation. I'm guessing the remasters of, and by the way, I'm checking right here. It says right here, the Life is Strange remastered collection has both Life is Strange and Before the Storm. And it says right here, remastered visuals, and it also even makes a point to make this one of the key features. Vastly improved character animation using full facial mocap performance. So there you go. The faces this time will actually match the emotions that the characters are feeling.
Hooray!
So it's nice. Because one of the big hampering facts that really diminishes the potential of the cutscenes in Life is Strange is the fact that the character animations are so, let's just say, rough is putting mildly. A lot of times the characters are just like, they're just completely like, they're dead, their soul dead. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, it's just...
No, I know that. It's because Don't Know did not have much of a budget back then.
Well, Pedro, given how...
Well, here's the thing too. Don't Not had just come out of a gigantic commercial bomb, so I can't exactly blame Square-Enix for not being willing to give them a AAA budget.
Oh no, absolutely, I understand that.
Because Don't Not had a lot to prove, after Remember Me. So, but I will say that I still prefer Remember Me's music over Life is Strange's music, but that's a topic for another day.
Yes, Remember Me, a game that not many people seem to remember. Yuck.
Yes, Jova, no one has done this job before.
Wait, that name sounds familiar.
Capcom IP, that both through circumstances more than anything, because London was searching for a publisher, but both Activision and Ubisoft rejected because they thought having a female protagonist would not make the game, strong enough. And then Capcom was like,
good to know that we haven't left past the 90s.
And and when Capcom instead accepted, was like, oh sure, slap her ass in the cover. That will attract everyone.
I'm guessing the remasters are going to be using the same engine, the same graphics engine as True Colors, which is a very convenient. I'm guessing Deck 9 is maybe working on the remasters themselves as well. Because
I mean, they were the one announcing that, so probably.
Again, I said,
Don't Nod literally just came out from Tell Me Why and Twin Mirror, so they've separated themselves from Square-Enix for a while now. So I don't know if they're involved at all with these remasters.
Like I said, it's unclear if they're remasters or remakes, because if they're gonna use the engine of Life is Strange True Colors thing, then that sounds more like a remake, because different engine does make it a remake. But again, they're doing the typical company thing of calling it a remastered collection. Like,
they do it, Jova, because that's the term most people are familiar with. Mass audiences are most familiar with the term.
I remember also, Jova, focus groups in deciding what's the more marketable word for it.
Yeah. Anyway, True Colors not very optimistic considering Deck 9's previous effort, but I guess we'll see. Anything else? What else did they show? Oh, Balan Wonderworld still sucks. So
what about the title stuff?
The title stuff looks fine, I guess. Yeah. nothing inoffensive about it. Nothing offensive about it. Looks like it's a perfectly serviceable stuff that they're doing with this. So sure, why not? What else did they? Oh, Outriders. Outriders looks interesting. We'll have to see how that turns out. We'll see. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. What else did they show?
Oh, there was Outrider.
I just mentioned it.
I just mentioned that. I can't remember.
How
anything else
about the
that they
Tomb
showed.
Raider stuff?
Well, like I said, it's a convenient way for everybody who has missed out on the trilogy. And like I said, on the new next-gen consoles, all 3 games, if you activate performance mode, they all run at a flawless 60. So that's awesome. So there's that. So at the very least, the gameplay experience should be fun. In general. What else? Oh, apparently, it says here on the official thing for the remastered collection of Life is Strange that apparently they're gonna have improved puzzles.
Huh.
Says right here.
Oh, please tell me they have a puzzle difficulty like Silent Hill. That would be interesting.
It says updated and refined gameplay puzzles. The puzzles, quote unquote, of Life is Strange were not exactly stellar. So if they can improve, sure, I guess. That's about it for me, really. I don't remember much else.
Go
ahead.
Honestly, I thought this was boring. Like this was definitely a first-time thing for them because it felt like watching several separate 5-minute demonstrations in one go. They spent way too long on the majority of the things here.
Yeah, that is one thing about Square. Often, whenever they try a first thing, they kind of fall flat on their faces. Even more so than when Sony tried to do it the first time. Like, I ragged on the State of Play thing, but even the first one at least had that one gripping thing to keep us excited. This one, well, the way it was paced feels like, sure, I mentioned, a bunch of tiny trailers just hooked together. And yeah, that's arguably what a show is, but a good show should mask that feeling.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't even know if I can give them the benefit of the doubt because everybody else seems to handle this much better. Like, this format has been a staple for a lot of companies for a while. I don't know how they could look at the others and then somehow do this.
Yeah, like, I hate to say it, even Ubisoft had a better start at the presenting, and trust me, I don't say that lightly. Ubisoft have been making clowns of themselves, but no, they knew the format better. I'll give them that.
And a lot of it, one complaint that I haven't really seen many people bring up. I mean, I know it's different in the case of Life is Strange because of the kind of game it is. There was a lot of trailer and not a lot of gameplay. That's something that's usually brought up in these, and none of it happened here.
Well, sure,
for any of them.
Sure. Life is Strange works pretty much like a David Cage game. The gameplay is not...
No, that's why I said except for Life is Strange.
Pretty much. Oh. And I guess technically...
I did say that.
Hey, technically Balan Wonderworld showed gameplay for most of its...
Why did that have to be the one to show the gameplay when that's the one with the shit gameplay?
Because it's coming out in 8 days.
Nobody cares. I mean, the stuff does look fun, even if it did lack in a lot of gameplay. The Forspoken one does look good. Life is Strange. I don't really. I'm pretty indifferent towards it. It's just kind of there. We'll see when we actually get to that particular LP. But yeah, for now, it's just okay. This exists. People seem to like it. Fair enough. It does look visibly different, though, because we have covered a bit of the game in the past, and Pedro's streamed like a little bit of it here and there. But it does look... There are improvements visually.
Sure, let me help you. It looks hella better graphically. Wouldn't you say?
If this were Xbox, it would look lit.
Maybe this one will have... Sure. Maybe this one will have even hella larger subtitles.
I don't know. I actually thought that wording being in the actual menu was kind of funny.
Oh, it is. It's just I just wish they wouldn't repeat the same joke over and over, then losing
Oh, yeah.
its punch.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, cringy in game, fair enough, but just it being there in the actual menu is just kind of funny. The only game featured here that I actually have any kind of remote attachment to is Puzzle Bobble, so there's that, I guess. I get something.
Actually, remember, the Arcade Archives release of it is on all consoles, including Switch. You can always get it there if you feel like playing it again.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully they'll improve since they have one planned not too long from now, considering how quick time is going. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll probably get a more meaty, direct conference thing there. Very awkward first start for them, though.
I thought it was pretty average. I wasn't really expecting much, and I came in the same. So yeah, that was it. Like Outlanders, I'm just tired of everyone trying to copy the Destiny model.
I love how you called it Outlanders, even though it's called Outride.
Outride. Oh my god, I'm tired.
How about Wakanda, though?
Go on. I don't care about the Marvel Avengers game. Like I said, I hope people who are still playing it will be satisfied. But me, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Unless someone gives it to me as a gift. The Tomb Raider stuff, I should play one of these Tomb Raider games one day, but maybe I'll play the original games or something like that. And hey, Lara Croft's in Fortnite, so I guess I have to play Chug Jug every time I play.
Can't wait to see people using her with the twerking taunt.
I mean, look, man, real talk, man, those Chun-Li videos of Fortnite, damn.
So
You've already seen my retweet.
I kind of forgot if they're using like the proper version of Lara Croft or her reboot trilogy look.
It's the Street Fighter 2 classic and her.
No, the Joe was talking about Lara Croft. No, if Lara Croft is the classic one.
Everything.
Ah, okay, then that works.
Her retro design, the Fortnite-ified, and the reboot, and the gold variation of her for some reason.
Remember, it was one of the more memorable death scenes from the first game.
Okay.
All right.
The Puzzle Bobble, that looks nice. Life is Strange, I already said it. It looks like something I would hate, especially that blue-haired girl. And
oh yeah,
they showed off.
Yeah,
that looks
Chloe.
Really good. I hope it's good. I really hope it's good.
Your hopes are gonna get dashed, aren't they?
Yep.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
All right, let me start with Outriders. Like I mentioned, it doesn't really look a thing that I would be personally interested into, but it looks really promising in general. The way it looks, the way it plays, the way Square is pushing it and all. So I really commend what they're doing. We'll see how that turns out. The mobile stuff for Just Cause and Hitman, I already mentioned that when they happened. It's a thing that happened. For Just Cause, it was kind of inevitable as an outcome. For Hitman, it's more surprising, technically, again, like we mentioned. The Tomb Raider 25th anniversary stuff, this was a bit predictable, but still fine enough, It still leaves to see where Square will take the direction of the franchise, now that this particular continuity is over. Officially, they closed the door and everything. So we'll see what they will do next. But I doubt we'll see anything in the foreseeable future. The Taito stuff, interesting all across the board. The only thing I'm not particularly attached to is, ironically, sorry, Shirei, Bubble. But it still looks fine enough. It reminds me a lot of the modern Kirby games, the way it looks and plays. But Space Invaders Mobile and the Darius stuff, it looks very interesting to me. Like I said, I plan to get the Darius collections at some point because I'm actually a fan of these kind of classic shooters. So we'll see. Marvel's Avengers, the update. Not a fan of Clint's costume, but everything else seems fine. Even Taskmaster design. I still understand why Maestro is the villain of choice here, but fair enough. We'll see also how the Wakanda expansion turns out. Well, I forgot if you actually answered my question, Jova. Do you prefer Black Panther with or without a cape?
Like I said, I prefer him with the cape, actually.
Same.
Yeah.
Anyway, Balan Wonderworld. I don't really have much of an attachment to it, so don't expect my opinion to be as fiery as the others. From the little bits where they see, it looks mostly harmless, but they get the idea of disappointment because of the way it plays might be archaic. But again, I'll wait and see what the game actually comes out and everything. Life is Strange stuff. Like completely forgot what my thoughts were when we did originally episode 1 of the first game, but I'm a fan of Dontnod. I mentioned that in the I Remember Me run, and I actually like the idea behind the series in general. These, similar to Higurashi, these lines of life stuff that get entangled with the supernatural. The thing that I mentioned that I don't like is the overall character aesthetic, not necessarily the art style, but literally the choice of culture showcase. The fact that all the characters look like the classical stereotypes that they associate to the hipster culture of these days. The beanies, the multicolored hair out of nowhere, the passion for photograph, the weird mustaches for the guys. It's something that I'm not really a fan of. It's like that RPG that they released recently. I forgot what it's called. That one has two all over the place. It's just not a thing that I see fitting for these kind of games. But I get the idea that it's something that the makers love to do. So the gameplay is still good. The gameplay is still good enough for me to be interested despite this. As for the story, well, you will have to wait and see. And for last, Forspoken, since now it's a new title, I will refer it as such. It looks interesting as a premise, a bit too actiony from what I've seen. It points to a lot of agility as a nod to Noctis Warp Strikes, and the air physics still hasn't improved much, but it's not, it still looks interesting enough for me to actually give it a try eventually. So overall, as a whole, much like the first state of play, I'm actually the one that's more positive about it. I was interested in most of it, actually. There were really maybe one or two things that I didn't particularly care about. And considering most stuff had been showcased even on Nintendo Direct, or in other previous events, like also the Game Awards, if I recall correctly, or still a previous event, I get the idea that they wanted to save some particular announcements for this, some a bit important, others don't, and they actually bother to mention to keep the expectation in check, at the beginning, without instead of having everyone hyping up for nothing. So yeah, honestly, it's a perfectly good start for my part. So we'll see what happens in the next one, which is supposedly in spring, probably the free replacement. So see you for that, I guess.
See ya.
See ya.